So there are a few glaring issues with Reddit as a whole, but today I wanted to talk about a specific subreddit, kinda a niche subreddit, a subreddit that I personally actually go on a lot. So this whole subreddit, in my opinion, is a mess, and before I start, I want to say, I don't want to spread hate. The subreddit is functional right now, and sending more hate would make the subreddit virtually unusable, so take that disclaimer as you will. Now, when you go on Reddit, you expect people to have different opinions. Like, say I like something that you don't. There really shouldn't be a problem, unless the thing I like is causing unwanted harm to other people. But on the Mountain Dew subreddit, that mentality really isn't there. If you disagree with the general consensus on a certain flavor, you're basically going to be downvoted to oblivion. The example of this would be this post right here. The first comment is, "You're banned," with more karma than the actual post, which I find funny because the post has a 52% upvote ratio, meaning people misused the downvote button. If you didn't know, the downvote button is for submissions that don't contribute or don't relate to the subreddit. This post does, so it really shouldn't be downvoted. But whatever, people will just downvote what they disagree with. Another thing I realize is that people change the subject on posts from people that dislike a flavor they like. An example would be on the same post. The most popular comment says, "Voodoo was the absolute nastiest flavor I've ever tried. This is just a pissed Livewire fan shitting on a completely different flavor, changing the subject entirely." When commenting on a post, it is usually normal to make your comment have something to do with the post, but this has nothing to do with the post at all, and has so many more upvotes than the post. Again, this is the consensus, and the original post goes against it, making it downvoted. Sometimes it feels like the subreddit is telling you what you should like, because of these upvote ratios. I have no problem. A subreddit having a consensus is completely fine. You shouldn't be blasted for disagreeing with it though. This kind of behavior is enabled by the next part of this video, the moderation team. Now, I do have somewhat of a respect for these people. They enforce the rules of the subreddit to a degree. They make a lot of poor decisions, which we'll get into later, but for now, we'll stick to my main subject matter, being there's one rule they don't enforce as much as others. Rule 2. No unwanted, hateful comments/harassment. Don't be a dick, dudes. This place is for any and all Dew fans to share, discuss, and post. Don't go around being a douchebag on a high horse and be respectful to fellow fans. If I'm being serious, Rule 2 honestly baffles me. This rule has been so poorly enforced that I guarantee you can find an example of it being broken on several posts. Their refusal to enforce this rule has even resulted in me deleting my previous account. I was complaining about how Rule 2 isn't enforced and how you're shunned for sharing different opinions, and I was told to message the moderators if I had concerns. This is a fine response, other than the fact that the person who was breaking the rule was a moderator. I was expressing my opinions that Mountain Dew Zero Sugar is a pointless addition to the lineup, especially considering it shares little differences from Diet Mountain Dew in basically every possible category. This moderator then proceeded to falsely interpret and twist my words to make it look like I was telling people what to believe. Here's an excerpt from one of this moderator's replies.
"So why don't you say that instead of being a sarcastic asshat? Sorry if that came off as rude, but you're being quite disrespectful."
As you can see, the moderator uses unprofessional and quite demeaning language. Also, I will admit, I could have structured my posts and comments better. But I was quite upset during this time, and given that, I feel I did well in this situation. The post will be in the comment section if you want to give it a read. Again, I was pretty upset during this time period, so if you read anything of mine that makes me look like an asshole, I apologize. On this subreddit, there are many examples of people breaking Rule 2, and judging by the things you have seen already, I trust that you have already seen that this is the case. If not, I encourage you to search a bit on your own to see for yourself. There is a plethora of examples, truly. But without further ado, there's another chapter to this story. On another thread, there's a comment by a user who has recently been dealt a poor hand of cards. Their comment in response to the moderator reads, "You need to freaking chill, my dude." Chapter 3. User SupremeGD. SupremeGD is a member of the Mountain Dew subreddit, who, like all of us should, disagrees with some people's opinions. This, of course, gives him some problems. Apparently some things happened on the Mountain Dew Discord, which I am not qualified to talk about as I have no idea what happens, but that doesn't matter. The issue starts when a Mountain Dew moderator created a poll titled Mountain Dew Zero Sugar, Flavors of the Future poll. The poll's purpose is to essentially get the consensus on which zero sugar flavors the Mountain Dew subreddit would like to see, which in my opinion is perfectly fine. The main problem comes when a specific user uses homophobic slurs against the moderator who made the post. The moderator being bisexual, this set off alarms in their head, and a post had been made by another moderator calling out the user who used these slurs. The user at the time, who was thought to be none other than SupremeGD. The post essentially blasted him in front of the whole subreddit, calling him homophobic, a shit stain or something like that, and brought up the Discord thing, which again I have no idea about, and his alleged entries into the poll. I actually commented on this, initially being too critical. That being said, I also said that making a whole post bashing Supreme was unprofessional and not the way to go about banning somebody. I received some interesting replies from the mods. I will also link this thread in the description. But I stuck to my guns. A few hours later, the post had been removed. I knew something was up, and I knew Supreme was most likely innocent. A few hours later, Supreme makes a follow-up post.
Clear my name. After recently coming off a 4-hour shift, I noticed a flood of messages coming from this server. Apparently a poll was created for Zero Sugar where you could comment. You were supposed to submit your username, and some idiot decided to put in my name, user SupremeGD, instead of his own. I admit, I got into trouble with the Dew Drinker Discord, but that was a different issue than this. I have never used slurs in any kind of foul language. Somebody decided to put my username in as a joke or prank, and now everyone thinks I did this. I never entered the poll. I promise all of you. A mod who is now deleted posted another message that received even more backlash. I am aware that this probably won't clear my name, as everyone thinks I posted these things, but why would I ever use my full Reddit username if I know it would just get me banned? I've been offline this entire time this drama happened, and I know nobody will believe me even though this is true. Short of bringing up work records and manager testimonies, I also didn't access any electronics for the last 4 hours. I hope whoever used my name will come clean, and Tart, please don't call me out and bash me like this in public without getting all the facts first. I'm on mobile, by the way, so formatting.
I commented, apologizing for being critical of Supreme on the original mod post, and a moderator apologized as well. Supreme was free. The whole issue was ridiculous and could have been avoided, though I feel the moderation team has learned and will improve from this experience. The Mountain Dew subreddit is a mess, but honestly, I feel it could be fixed. The moderators seem willing to change despite their quite intense and unprofessional reactions to issues. I feel there is room for an accepting, nice, and hopefully overall awesome subreddit for Dew fans to interact peacefully. Believe it or not, sometimes the most niche subreddit are the ones that need the most improvement. And mods, if you're watching this, no harm meant by this. We all want this subreddit to be the best it possibly can.